I love being a priest. I have loved it every day of the 26 years. It doesn't mean it has been easy. Sometimes you have to do really sad funerals or be there when horrible, terrible accidents happen in a family and you're the one called in. Those are challenging times, but they also are beautiful times. I believe that the Lord, the reason I love being a priest and so joyful in my priesthood is that God called me to it. You see, it's called a vocation. Like vocalization comes from the same word, vocare, to call, a Latin word to call. And each of us has one. Some are called to marriage. And that means that out there is the person God planned for you. Important to remember that it's not just a random thing that you go meet people, but somebody that you're called to be connected with. That when God was creating the world and putting the stars in the sky and fish in the sea and making the black Labrador retriever like Zelly, my dog, the coolest of all animals, that means if you're called to marriage, he has in mind that person just for you. And dating, very important, dating should be red flag hunting. That's what means that when you go looking and you're dating somebody, if they're mean, then they're going to be mean after you get married. If they make bad decisions before you get married, they're going to make bad decisions. And so if you see that red flag, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to fix them. It means that's not what I'm called to. The other thing is this. My calling to be a priest was something that the Lord put into my heart. My uncle was a priest, so it was sort of a normal thing to have a priest in the family. It wasn't like a big step off. I thought about doing lots of other things. I dated, I thought about maybe being a doctor like my dad, but somehow that hunch in the back of my mind kept calling me, kept nudging me. I thought about it at first, but I was too young during college. And so my mom encouraged me to get a job. But each person, the way to do it is different for them. If you feel called to the priesthood and you're in high school, we have college seminary, which is an incredible option to go and study at a regular university, but still live together in a prayerful way. You go home in the summer and then you go and get regular jobs, but you still are trying to live an intentional way. The point of entering a seminary is not because you know you want to be a priest. It's like starting to date someone. You're giving it a try, and if you realize, this is what I'm called to, then you keep pursuing it. So I entered the seminary, and it was about my second year that the Lord really confirmed in me that this was what I was called to do. A priest is ordained, meaning that they are called to help order the life of the church with the bishop. And so in that moment, your soul is changed through the imposition of hands of the bishop to Jesus, the high priest, to be able to give people the Eucharist, to be able to help people in marriage, to preach the word, to baptize babies. One of the incredible gifts of being a priest, and one of the things I love most about it, is that in one day you can be with a family that's celebrating the birth of a baby, and then with another family that's saying goodbye to a loved one as they pass on. And then the next day you've got a wedding. You're part of people's lives. It's one of the reasons why priests are called fathers, because we are called to be the father to so many people, to help them in their saddest moments, to celebrate with them, and to find in their joyful moments, to help them find the light and answers to questions when they don't know the answers or having a hard time seeing God. And so it is that if you feel that you have that notion to be a priest, don't be afraid of it. Because if you come in and you're like, I think I want to be a priest, and then you find out you don't, well, then you're going to be a better man, a better Catholic, a better husband than you would have been otherwise. When I invite people to come, and I invite men to come to holy hours, prayers, talks, I invite them not just because I think they are going to be a priest. They might be the dad of a priest someday. But that whole process of learning about what it is. So, for some of the men and women, they might be called to religious life, to live as a brother or a sister, or as a priest in a religious community. Some are called to priesthood, others to marriage. And so I invite you in this time to let your heart be filled with God's love. And that only happens when you're going to church, when you're praying regularly. You can't hear if you're not connected. But as you stay connected to the Lord, going to confession when you can on a regular basis, then you start being able to hear things. And you can discern, is that the person for me? Or am I called to be a priest or a brother or a sister? And then to remember that the process of going into it is not because you've made that decision there, but just to discern and to figure out what God's asking you. I tell you, if you find your vocation, you will know true joy. Not always the easiest thing, but like me, if you're called to be a priest, I guarantee you'll love it. It's a beautiful life. It's a powerful life. It's a wonderful life. God bless.